the Fauna magazine. And Bob, why don't you tell us some more about these wonderful critters that you brought along with you?
Yeah, here's one of our employees over at Fauna magazine. This is Tiny, one of the boa constrictors we have that is resident in Hop Hog with us. You might see these in your local pet store. A snake about a foot long, perhaps, maybe pencil thin. That's what people do when they buy them at that size, and this is what they can contend with in about 3 to 4 years. They have the ability to grow as fast as you feed them. There is a limit, but you can see the girth of this guy here.
How much does she weigh?
She is close to 50 pounds.
Wow.
And quite the eater, but as you can see, very tame.
Now, do you feel safe handling her yourself, or do you usually always make sure you're around with somebody else?
It's very smart to keep an animal this size, have anything over 8 feet, to have someone else in the room with you, because they are constrictors. They're not poisonous. They do have teeth. They can bite and latch onto you. They are not aggressive towards people, however. Usually any kind of a bite or mishap with a snake like this happened around feeding, as you may get the scent of the animal you're feeding them on your hands, and they may mistake you for something, particularly the size of your hand may look like a food item to them.
Now, you want to let people know that that thing coming out of her mouth is not a poisonous thing. It's her way of smelling, isn't it?
No, yeah, that's the mystery of snakes. People see that and think that it's very sinister looking, but that is nothing more than her sensing out the studio and seeing all these new smells. That's how they taste. They flick their tongue out, and they have an organ in the top of their head where they can actually taste the air and see what's around them.
And what do we feed this guy?
She eats rats primarily, but any kind of rodent or fowl they'll definitely go for.
Okay, we have another one. Our little helper here is coming in, and there's another beauty snake.
Yeah, here's Mike Schiff, who's here from the Reptile Center, and he helps us out at the magazine as well, taking care of our menagerie. And he's bringing another friend of ours, which is another constrictor. This is a reticulated python.
Difference in the fact that this got the spots are a little different on this one?
Yeah, completely different species of animal as far as pythons are constrictors, much like, and he's constricting my arm at the moment, if you could see. Very powerful snake that literally could cut the circulation off my arm if it continues.
Well, I have a pocket knife on me if you need to amputate, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, we'll be all right, because this is a tame one. Again, this is courtesy of Ron's Reptile Center. This is a Sulawesi. It's the particular island this animal comes from. You can see the yellow head is a very specific type.
I was going to ask you if he was jaundiced or not, but that's his color.
That's the color from this particular locality they come from. And this snake is, reticulated pythons as a species are actually the longest snakes in the world. They can get in excess of 30 feet, although not many people have seen them that big. Years ago, apparently they were. They get very heavy-bodied. There's some reticulated pythons at the Bronx Zoo. They're in excess of a couple hundred pounds. And this animal is a dangerous animal, not something that you want your child to handle, not something that should be handled by anybody who doesn't know what they're doing. Never let them wrap around your neck is absolutely rule number one. Rule number two is call Mike when he does. Yes.
Okay. Why don't we move him along, and then we have some little geckos to the show, I think.
What do we got next?
We bring him along.
Actually,
now this guy seems very comfortable around you.
Yes, there's not a lot of affection going on, really. It's as a cold-blooded animal, snakes like to hang on people because people are 98.6 degrees. So there is absolutely a. Thank you very much.
Slip him off.
You'll slip this off. Nice piece of jewelry. Thanks, Mike.
It may keep you nice and warm in the wintertime, though. Now, this guy is a little more handled.
This is more like it, yeah.
Okay.
Many people in my travels have asked me...
keep him steady so that folks can see.
Yeah, what would you like? My son wants a pet. My daughter wants a pet. What would you recommend, Bob? Everybody runs towards iguanas, usually in the pet trade. They get massive. They get 6 feet long. They can pack a wallop as far as a bite. They have a lot of husbandry requirements that make them not the greatest pet. This is the staple in the industry right now. This is a bearded dragon. It's an Australian creature that, as you can see, is as calm can be. This is just about full grown. It's about a foot or so long. My 5-year-old daughter Mallory walks around the house with this all day long. There's absolutely nothing to fear that it's going to bite her or disease-wise. The animal's very clean. Everybody's worried about salmonella in the pet trade. Provided you keep the animal clean in its environment, there's nothing to be concerned with. So this is what we're recommending when people ask us, and we have quite a few of these on hand to show people that there's nothing to be concerned. It's not slimy, as most people think reptiles are. Very dry, and if we can, she'll sit here the rest of the show if we let her.
And this is the bearded dragon.
The bearded dragon.
Now, those little spines on the side, they're not a problem?
No, they look sharper than they really are. I can squeeze them. They can tense themselves. It's more of a defense mechanism. If they were in the wild and something was trying to bite them, they'd stiffen them to try and scare the prey off. They're called a bearded dragon because the males in particular they darken their throat sac here, and they throw it out as a threat to other bearded dragons.
How much would a little guy like this cost?
An adult is about $100 to $200, depending on the size. Some of the babies and their prolific breeders, you can get a little bit less expensively. They're desert dwellers, and they're omnivores, meaning they'll eat insects, vegetables, and protein. So,
and how long do they live?
We've had them over 10 years. I don't know what the record is for them, but they're very hardy animals in captivity. Beauty of it for us at Fauna, as we think captive propagation really is a form of conservation, we like to encourage people to buy animals like this rather than patronize people who import animals. And that's because the demand is just ruining the natural stocks.
We're going to take a break here for just a minute and come right back and show you more of these wonderful animals that Bob has brought along. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.